Okay, it's still October the 5th. This is the southeast end near Scarborough, and I'm just showing a power line full of orb clusters, and also in the front there is microwave antenna that's got a whole stack of them as well. They're harder to see because they're not lit up, but the ones on the power line there are. So they're starting to light up, and it's early. It's not even 6 o'clock p.m. And you can see more over here on the power line there. So these things are just taking over all our power lines, an entire power grid. I wonder what's going to happen when they actually have the control over the whole thing, because eventually there's going to be so many of them on it, and they'll be just able to control the entire grid. Look at this. Just all over the place. Check that out. It's like a sideways pyramid shape. And that's strictly made out of orbs. It's either in front of that building or leaning right on it. And that's what I'm talking about. These things are making their own shapes of all types. Okay. That's so large it could possibly be some type of vehicle. But it's a light vehicle, constructed out of light and energy. If it is a vehicle, or it could be just a structure. There are so many microwaves and everything all over these microwave towers. And these things are just getting all the energy they need from them. But not only the energy, all the information, which is even worse. And they're privy to probably every conversation being held. Could add one right on top of that stack. That's an orb cluster on top of a stack. That's some sort of factory or something. I'm not sure what that is. Looks like a factory. It's a large microwave tower. This has got orbs on it. They're all over everything. It doesn't matter if it's microwave technology or the power grid, the electrical power grid, or anything else. There's just a whole bunch of them all over on everything. There's a lot of orbs right there. And those are power lines. Look at this. This is a big light. Right on the light. The light's not lit yet. And they're still drawing power from it. Okay, those are all clusters. And that's one of those reflector lights. I don't know if that's a stadium or a park, but they're right on it. And they're just drawing power from everything. They're in all of them. And they're in every one of them. Look at that when it's lit up. Okay, so they're able to draw power even when the lights are off. Okay, those things don't go on for another 2 hours or so, maybe 3 when it gets dark. But they're still able to draw power from them, regardless if they're on or off. So they've managed to override every switch, and they're just drawing power from all of those lights. And that's got to be a park of some sort. Yeah, every one of those large lights and all the power cables are just saturated with these things, or inundated with these things. You can see how many there are just by the shimmering. Okay, they're all along that building and that entire area. And over here you can see how many there are, even on the building. Look, see that spot there that's yellow? that's the active cluster, and the rest of it, that's brown, is just inundated with them. It's covered in them. But you can see that there's an active orb cluster right there, like the nucleus is right there. And the reason you can't see the building clearly is because there's so many of them in that area, and all that fog in the air. I mean, there's no clouds in the sky practically, and there should be no fog whatsoever there, but that whole area. That moron is always around when I'm saying something important. I wonder if they sent him here. Anyway, every time I'm saying something important, that moron comes around and makes all that noise. It's not a coincidence. Anyway, what I was saying is, like, there should be no fog any place, but that entire area is in a complete fog. And the reason is you can't even see the building because there's so many of them. And look how right on the building they made a cluster and a cluster nucleus. Okay, and you could see them shimmering there in the brown part, especially around the windows. They're all over, and that's the ones that are in the air, and that's the fog. The fog is just them. You can see how thick the fog is. The fog should not be there at all because it's a clear day. It's not muggy. I mean, the wind must be like about 15 kilometers an hour. There's no reason to have any fog whatsoever, but look, the entire downtown is in a fog. Okay, so they're in the air already. I'm surprised they're starting earlier and earlier. And this fog is starting to happen all day long, not just in the morning early or in the evening before sunset. It's happening now all day long. And that means there are more of them in the air. Too early to look at that. I'm just looking for some there in midair. These are the buildings that I filmed from my other location. And I was right, they're all over it. And look how foggy it is over there, you can hardly see them. But you can see there are big clusters right there on top of the building. Yeah, that's a real big one right there, that one that's bright with that yellow and red marking. See, right in between cables. Check this one out. And then you see how foggy it is there? You can see the cluster, but you can't see the buildings. Because there's so many of them in the air. You can only see the buildings if you back off. When you come in close, you see that one right in, those two right in between the cables. And you're getting ready for tonight. There's a whole bunch of them in between the cables, they just haven't lit up. But they're all over those cables. And in a little while, that'll all light up. See, they're on top of the buildings and everything. There's no doubt about it, they're all over. I don't like those black ones that fly by so fast. See how fast they zoom by? Boy, this whole thing is just glowing. Look, you could see them on top of those microwave antennas. Check that one out. And that's in a microwave antenna too. And look at this one down here. See the orbs there on the side? I don't know what kind of a structure they made there, but that's an orb structure. I don't know what kind of a structure. That's probably some kind of a sign. It looks like some kind of a sign. But you see how neatly they stack up. Check all of these out. Can you get them all in? Look how many there are there. And those are all big clusters. Look. Right on the power cables too. See all the fog? And they're really warming up. Talk about accelerating global warming. These things are helping it along very nicely. Maybe that's their job, to warm up this planet, or to terraform it. Who knows who they answer to? Look at those two. And this one. And look at this one. Right into the wires there. It's going right into the power cables. And it's taking power from the power cables and transferring it right to the orbs in the trees. And those trees are just little orbs. Look how hot those cables are, and everything else that's connected to them, starting with this tower. Boy, that's going to be glowing in a little while. It's just too sunny right now to show that. But all of these are just orbs down here. Look. Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. There's some homes right there. That's right on top of somebody's house. These things generate a lot of heat because they store all that electric power that they're taking. Maybe they wanted to. They can just spark up a fire anywhere. Look how many of them there are. That's in somebody's yard. This is not funny anymore. And there's homes all over. This is right in somebody's yard. Back it up so you can see it better. And that's a tree in somebody's yard. And that's a hot cluster. Wow. This chimney is like saturated. I don't know what that is or why it's there. Could be some other type of orb structure. I don't know what that is. Definitely not part of their house. Look at all of them. That whole tree stock is just them. That's a lot of heat those things are emitting right next to homes. And look at this one in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's right in the woods. And they're all in the woods. And that old tree has had it. It's got a cluster that size. Look at these. Around the power cables. And just more of the same. This one not activated yet. But all that fog is just them in the air. Wow, they're making more of those flue structures. Look at this. Okay, so there's the fog I'm talking about. See all the fog they make? What they also make is some kind of a webbing, and I found it right downstairs when I go down, it's right mixed in with all the vegetation, and it's like spider web, but slightly different. It's stronger than spider web, and that's what they attach themselves to when they go into the trees. It's just like those spiders I showed not long ago that were hanging off the walls and attaching themselves with that webbing to stay put in place. So all that white stuff is like invisible webbing that looks like fog, but it's got physical value to it, or substance. It's not just mist and heat and water vapor. It's actually got physical properties, and that's what's happening. They're spreading that stuff all over, and there's the fog I'm talking about. So you can see when it's farther away, you can see it. It's harder to see down here, but you can see all the orbs in the air if you look closely. I'll put it over here. If you look closely, you can see all the movement. I'll try and go closer. See the movement? That's how many orbs are in the air. Zillions. No use counting them. There's so many, it's no point in counting them. Okay, our whole planet is inundated with these things. I mean, absolute saturation, absolutely. But in the distance, you see the fog, and it's sunny. Look at this big nucleus, right next to power cables, obviously. And you can see the difference where the fog is. Okay, you have to see it from a distance, because when you're right in it, it's hard to see. But if you're going close, you can see that it's just all of them. Okay, and this is not a camera blur. This is a blur created by so many organisms going in front of the lens. Okay, they're the ones creating the blur. There's nothing wrong with the camera. As you can see, when you move back, it's clear. So, it's just unreal how many of them there are. I'll just check my area over here. Okay, I'm on the west side by my tree over here. Just going to take a quick look. Oh boy, there's many more of them today. And they stripped all the trees. Yeah, there's a lot more of them. And they're just stripping all the trees. Look, they're already eating all the branches. See over here. Okay, the leaves haven't started falling off yet. It's too early. So it's them that just stripped all the trees. They've eaten them. There's a lot more of them all over the look. This tree's gone altogether. They ate that one fast. That was a tree 2 days ago. Okay, now that tree is gone. It took 2 days for them to finish that tree off. I remember filming it 2 days ago. Now it's gone. Here's that crazy looking thing. Look how many of them are all around it. That carries high voltage, and they're all over it. And this thing has a lot of orbs. I'm just gonna set it and leave it. See what flies by today. I'm gonna back it off. Not that much. Let's see if anything goes by. First, let's see if it's shooting off anything into the air. Okay, I don't see anything shooting up on this little screen. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, I can't tell. These things are adaptable. They learn their lessons very quickly, and they don't repeat their mistakes too many times. Actually, I've only seen one star make a mistake twice, the same one. So they normally correct their flaws immediately. That's how smart they are. I don't believe this thing is a tree at all. It's just them. It's an image of a tree, not a real tree. Because anyway, it's sticking out above all of these other trees. You have to be like a couple hundred meters in height. I thought it was grass there, and it was only 100-foot tree, but it's extending at least 100 feet over all the other trees, which is not normal. It's the only tree around there that's that high. And what it's doing is trying to get up close to these cables right here. Look at all the orbs in the air. You can see how many there are. You can't even see the cables. And there are the cables. When you come in close, all you see is orbs. That's how many are in the air. And that whole area is just the same. These are right on the cables. Sort these down here. See the big cluster right there on the cables, right next to that high power line, and they're gonna fire up. I don't know if those are orbs or like. It's hard to tell, but look, wherever those cables run through, all you see is a lot of orbs. They're drawing a whole lot of power from our power grid. Look how many orbs there are. That's the fog I'm talking about. Okay, here it is right there. Okay, look, even when I move back. Okay. It's all just them. When you move in close, you just see how many of them. And these aren't pixels from a bad camera. I mean, super high definition, super fine, super high definition. Okay? And it's not the camera. Look at the fog in the back. It's just all them. So. Waiting to see if any big cluster will fly by as a cluster, because nowadays they're starting to fly like the whole cluster rather than individual orbs. They've gotten brave. Still too early, it's not dark yet. When it starts to get dark, that's when they get started, because they think nobody can see them. Now look at all of these. They're all new. Not a whole bunch. They weren't there before. Anyway, that's enough. And the point is, these things are multiplying like crazy. And they're all over the place. They're making their own structures and definitely making a lot of fog. And the fog is not fog, it's just a lot of them. Okay, it's just all them. That's the fog. And the structures they're making are really strange looking. But they must have some kind of purpose, otherwise they wouldn't be making them. I haven't filmed these ones in the sky that have been coming around and checking me out. I let them all go today. I just want to show you. They're zigzagging all over. Just right above my head practically. Okay. And they're just shooting all over. Those aren't clouds, those are just trails. I don't know if they're looking for me or what, but they've been like crisscrossing in grid patterns all day long. They even changed their schedule. They're not doing it at night or in the morning. They're doing it like in daytime. So, you know, eventually they'll find me, but not yet. Okay. Thank you.